Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Cowboys veteran kicked out of practice after skirmish. In 5 seasons knocking around the NFL, Cowboys defensive lineman Albert Huggins has been with 9 different organizations and appeared in games for 4 of them. He played a career-high 13 games for the Falcons last year and signed on with the Cowboys on August 6 of this year. So, he should know better. On Wednesday, according to multiple reports, Huggins was removed from the Cowboys' joint practice in Oxnard, California, with the Rams, the team against whom the Cowboys opened the preseason on Sunday, following an incident where Huggins beat his man, then knocked a Rams intern/coach to the ground with both hands. Video of the incident shows that after Huggins knocked the intern down, someone from the Rams side shouts, "What the expletive are you doing?" "No, expletive, that." Rams coach Sean McVay interrupted the drill from there and Huggins was led off the field. As Saad Youssef from The Athletic wrote on Twitter/X, Albert Huggins was led off the field after finishing a pass rush drill by shoving the guy in shorts and t-shirt to the ground. Followed it by giving the Rams the middle finger on the way out of the scrum. Albert Huggins was led off the field after finishing a pass rush drill by shoving the guy in shorts and t-shirt to the ground. Followed it by giving the Rams the middle finger on the way out of the scrum. Cowboys' defensive line remains an issue. Of course, the Cowboys want to be physical with other teams during the preseason, and there's no doubt after seeing the Rams 3 times this week, familiarity is breeding some contempt. On the previous go-round before the Huggins incident, tackle Osa Odigizua got into a tangle with Rams center Alec Lindstrom, which drew a crowd of pushers and shovers before the two were separated. Of all the units that are feeling some frustration as training camp presses on, the defensive linemen are near the top of the list. They've been vulnerable to the key weakness they suffered from last year, which is stopping the run. The Rams have moved the ball easily on the ground against Dallas, according to reports. The Cowboys have attempted to address the issue by adding Bills lineman Jordan Phillips in a trade on Wednesday. Phillips is entering his 10th season, and while the experience is welcome, the metrics are rough. He graded out at Pro Football Focus with a 35.8 last year, which ranked 129th out of 130 NFL D linemen. Phillips scored just a 30.0 in run defense. Trayvon Diggs not scared. On a happier note, cornerback Trayvon Diggs is looking like his old self, and nabbed an interception on Rams quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo on Wednesday. Diggs is working his way back from a torn ACL he suffered in Week 2 last season and, after starting camp on the physically unable to perform list, he is back on the field. One of the challenges for players coming back from a torn ACL is the mental factor, the ability to play freely and trust the knee not to crumple again. Diggs said that's not an issue for him, though. "It felt good getting back and moving around other players, getting adjusted to other bodies flying near me, so it was good. I got a lot of great work in today. The mental portion of coming back is not really a challenge. I trust it now," he said, via the team's website. "It's just more so getting the repetition and getting back to doing what I do, getting familiar with the routes. That's pretty much it. As far as mentally being scared or anything, I'm not scared." Dallas Cowboys in the latest trade rumor mill. The trade rumor mill is constantly grinding, and the Dallas Cowboys are usually mentioned as a landing spot. It's okay for pundits to predict possible trade destinations, but the Dallas Cowboys seem to be the assumed landing spot for every NFL player, living rent-free in many minds. The Dallas Cowboys have not made a significant trade since Amari Cooper. This was one of the few trades that worked out in the Cowboys' favor. The Cowboys are all in, though, right? So, who is the player the Cowboys are being linked to now? Football player in Navy uniform practices throwing a football during a training session, with teammates in the background. Robert Woods trade rumor. Robert Woods is currently a Houston Texan, but cap relief could be a more significant need than a wide receiver on the bubble for the Texans. The rumor involving this wide receiver came from Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox, who said this about the Texans and Robert Woods. Houston could save roughly $5 million in cap space by releasing Woods, but would save $6.5 million by trading him. If he's on the bubble for financial reasons, the Texans would probably accept any reasonable trade offer. Woods would be a great addition to any reloading team with a young quarterback, just as he was for the Texans last season. However, he could also be an acceptable budget-friendly option for a potential contender looking to bolster its receiving core. That includes Dallas, which has underwhelming depth behind Lamb. This addition to the wide receiver room would create mismatches for opposing defenses. The veteran receiver would also bring Super Bowl experience from his time with the Los Angeles Rams. What could Robert Woods bring to the offense? Let's take a look. Football player in a white and blue uniform catches the ball with both hands raised above his head on the field. Robert Woods' productivity. Robert Woods brings 11 years of experience and the productivity the Dallas Cowboys need from a number 2 wide receiver. In 5 years with the Los Angeles Rams, Robert Woods played 68 games and had 4,626 yards receiving with 23 touchdowns. He averaged over 12 years per reception. Robert Woods' next stop was the Buffalo Bills. In his 4 years with the Bills, Woods played 57 games, gained 2,451 yards receiving and 12 touchdowns, and averaged 12.1 yards receiving per game. Following Robert Woods' time with the Buffalo Bills, he went on to the Tennessee Titans in 2022. He played in 17 games for the Titans and collected 527 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. At age 30, he averaged 9.9 yards per reception. His current team is the Houston Texans. Last year, Robert Woods played in 14 games and had 426 yards and 1 touchdown, averaging 10.7 yards per reception. Not bad numbers for a potential bubble player who could be got cheap in a trade or wait and see if the Texans cut him. 3 players walking. 2 players in white jerseys and a player in the middle in a red jersey. Robert Woods and the Cowboys offense. Robert Woods would bring a bigger body to the number 2 receiver position at 6 feet 0 inches and 195 pounds. This would match up well with what CeeDee Lamb brings on the other side. Brandon Cooks and CeeDee Lamb could move around the formation more with a competent third receiver. The passing game would be opened up with 3 receivers capable of being a number 1 target, and both Woods and Cooks have been in the past. The speed and physical traits of CeeDee Lamb and Robert Woods would complement Brandon Cooks' speed and keep secondaries guessing. This trade would also keep defenses honest. They would be unable to load up the box on the run game, thus opening up lanes for our mediocre running back core. Could this move benefit the team? The short answer is absolutely, but if it were to happen, fans would probably still be upset, and you can't make everyone happy. The all-in moment. As fans are well aware, Jerry Jones and the front office have tight pockets. Jerry Jones's all-in quote has not come to fruition. If there was ever a time when fans needed a jolt, an all-in moment, this is the time. The front office needs to not only pull the trigger on this trade so other teams cannot jump in if Robert Woods becomes a free agent. As much as Jerry Jones loves to be in the headlines, this trade should be a no-brainer for him. It would create massive headlines, and the pundits would talk about it for weeks. As the Dallas Cowboys rumors swirl about trades, signing players, or extensions, fans are on the edge of their seats, waiting for some positivity. This would not only be that joyous moment, but maybe, just maybe, this would bring a splinter of faith back to the front office. That's all the fans want. Just give them some hope for a better season. Hope for a playoff run, hope for a Super Bowl. Former New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick reportedly intends to coach in 2025 and may be interested in joining the Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, or New York Giants come January. Retired cornerback Asante Samuel played under Belichick with New England and believes Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones may already be planning for the departure of current Dallas head coach Mike McCarthy. Jerry Jones, he loves his players, he treats them right, Samuel said during a recent ESPN radio appearance, as shared by Lauren Campbell of Mass Live. Something's going on this year. And I think that leads to next year, to say Bill Belichick will be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Something is definitely going on with the Cowboys side that is about to enter a lame duck season with both McCarthy and quarterback Dak Prescott set to be out of contract following the campaign. Additionally, star wide receiver CeeDee Lamb has been staging a summer holdout amid his desire for an extension, but it appears Lamb could put pen to paper on a deal sooner rather than later. It was reported in January that the Cowboys and Eagles expressed interest in Belichick, that Belichick didn't reciprocate, and that those teams then decided to stick with their current coaches. Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni is likely on the hot seat following his team's collapse late last season, so Jones may have to beat Philadelphia in a race for Belichick's signature this coming winter. It ultimately comes down to Jerry Jones, Samuel continued. And Jerry Jones wants to win a Super Bowl. For him to get that bowl, his options are running out. And that last option for him to make this thing come to light is Bill Belichick. Jones is 81 years old, and his Cowboys haven't played in a conference championship game since they won Super Bowl 30 in January 1996. As much as he may want Belichick to serve as a franchise savior next year, logic suggests the six-time Super Bowl champion head coach wouldn't want to take over for a club with an unsettled quarterback situation. Then again, Belichick may already have a replacement for Prescott in mind if Jones doesn't want to pay the 31-year-old.